Today with a licensed professional counselor. We have Anisha Cooper in here, and she's going to talk to us about mental health, mental wellness, and her work, especially as a trauma therapist. Amen. Welcome to Nightmare Radio, Queen.
Thank you for inviting me. It's exciting to be here, y'all. Like, I watch y'all, I hear y'all, and I appreciate the invite.
Yes, and I feel like I've been supposed to connect with you on at least 2 or 3 things before, too. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to circle back around to one of those topics.
I got you.
Yes.
You. All love.
Yes. So, okay, all month so far, we've been discussing mental wellness. We discussed last week signs of depression and anxiety and PDD.
Okay.
I think. And then the first week of the month, we each shared a little bit of our own mental wellness journeys and struggles and stuff. And so at the end of this month, we're actually doing a panel event. We're going to open up the panel with some other therapists, some other mental wellness enthusiasts, and just and increase the conversation. But while we have you here, we wanted to hear just from an actual professional practitioner's opinion, how important it is for Black people specifically to invest in their mental wellness, especially right now with everything going on in the world.
It is vital. It is so vital. There's so much historical trauma that we have to release, that we hold in our bodies. Your moms, your dads. And it's important for us to understand that we're not just carrying our own experiences. You're carrying generations of experiences as Black folks, as Indigenous folks, as people of color. So it's so important that you release that. If you suffer from body aches, random migraines, you're like, why am I so irritable? I'm having a good day. I don't understand. If you're going through things that you can't pinpoint, a lot of that is that historical piece that's being trapped in your bodies. And another thing with, especially now you mentioned, with the pandemic, and I know, people are starting to get out more, but that stationary piece, we always say still yourself, and we mean that in the mind, not your bodies. You cannot still your body and get what you need to be released. You have to stretch it out, yoga. You have to actually move your body, still your mind. So Black people, especially throughout the pandemic, we're not moving as much. We weren't getting as much vitamin D, which also affects our mental health, our depression, all of that. So in a nutshell, it's us. We love us. Let's go. Get what you need, especially right now.
Right. So what would you say the first step is to unpacking your trauma?
Oh, the first step. It's tricky because it's like, for me, it's very dependent on the person. So me and you might come to me and say, this is the backstory. And the first step for us is going to always be building that trust, that foundation with whoever you're trying to work it out with. You have to make the decision. I think that's the one thing that's the commonality across the board. You have to make a commitment to yourself to show up. Because in healing, there's hurting. And we don't always talk through the hurting process to get to the actually enjoying the life.
Right.
We hear healing and we think, let's take a bubble bath, get your nails done.
Right.
Let's, talk through and we're going to just feel better. But it's a commitment and a decision. So the very first step is to make that decision.
That's deep. Recording it. Okay. I see why the choice can be so difficult, for people of color specifically, because you to make that type of choice to commit yourself, you have to acknowledge that, hey, there's some things that are not, fully aligned here.
Exactly. You have to. And a lot of times when you're dealing with the generational part, the historical piece, you don't know. I remember telling a joke to my family we were at breakfast. And I'm sitting there talking through a memory, hey, kiki, and I look around, ain't nobody laughing. And I know we all seen those memes when you make a joke and you realize, oh, that's trauma. And I was like, oh, before I can even acknowledge what's wrong, I have to know what is wrong.
Right? Yeah.
There's so many things that we've been through that we don't even know.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Oh, this is deep. It's a lot that Black people have to carry. And, of course, then you divide by the sexes, Black women and the trauma that we hold, and Black men and the spaces that they hold, and then there's just the combination of the two. It's,
Yeah.
So you practice holistic therapy?
Yes.
What is that? What does that mean?
So basically, I connect with and collaborate with other professionals that will work through spiritual components, the body, the somatic part, the soma, if you will, that's the body. And then we have spiritualists. Well, I already said spiritualists. Mental health practitioners that might have a different specialty, EMDR, or maybe they do hypnosis. So I basically have like in my back pocket folks that I really, really connect with that will meet you where you are. There's some folks that come in and they can't do, my specialty is narrative exposure therapy, which is specific to you being able to tell a story. If you have some type of like traumatic brain injury or cognitive issue that will prevent you from telling that story, let me connect you with someone else that can help you get to my process or fit you with a different process. So the holistic piece is that we're not just focusing just on the mental health. We're focusing on what physical symptoms you have, what spiritual symptoms do you have. Does it affect your sexuality? Are you able to be intimate with your partner or partners? Like, it's important that we hit all the bases. So when I do my assessment, I'm checking in on where you are so I can make sure, am I the best fit? And if I'm not the best fit, am I the best fit in collaboration with others, or do you need a different approach altogether?
Very interesting.
That is interesting. So, I mean, even that's just so crazy. Like you mentioned, am I the best fit? I was talking to a friend and she was like, you got to date these therapists.
Yeah, you really do. You really do.
Because you have to find the right type of vibe, I guess, or approach for whatever it is that you need.
Exactly.
Does that approach change? Like if a person is, continuously seeking that type of maintenance, is it possible as they develop or as they, I guess, get better or more aware, then their approaches and their approaches change as well?
No, absolutely. It's you evolve with your clients. I have clients now that I've been with for 4 years, and like the frequency has changed, the consistency might change depending on where they are in their lives, but also the ability to evolve with them had to be a conscious decision as well. They had to communicate, hey, this is no longer working for me, or I prefer this approach. So it's a relationship. Just like, Black women with their stylists. Mm-hmm. You ever go see a stylist and you're like, you could do hair, but there's a lot of other stuff
that you can't do.
I'm not trying to be here 7-8 hours a day. Okay?
Right.
So
right.
Like, it's the same thing with any professional. You want to make sure that you connect enough where you feel comfortable divulging your deepest, darkest secrets, feel comfortable not to be judged, but also are they using interventions, that's what the techniques are called, that actually resonate with you. There's folks that I'm like, I think you would do really well with the hypnosis, and especially Black folks, what? I'm not doing that. And I really have to help people connect where they are, what they need, and where they are in their own evolution to help them get the best fit.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny that you say that because historically we know that Black people do not like therapy. Mm-mm. Like we've taught that if you go to therapy, you're crazy. Mm-hmm. So
go to church, take it to the Lord.
Right. So how do you like break that mold or break that barrier down for people that you're like, hey, you need to try it out?
Mm-hmm. The part that I really focus on is that it's relational. You have to represent that we exist in this space. So just even being here today, knowing that other Black people are going to see another Black therapist and be like, okay, there's more people that look like me in this space. Also trying to show the variety. There are more button up, therapists. There's hoodie wearing therapists. Yeah. There's all kinds of like what we deem as professional. It gets to get really creative in this space because most therapists that you're going with, they're either independent practitioners or part of a group therapy practice. They are going to have a lot more flexibility in showing up and presenting as themselves.
Right.
So getting people to see that these are actual human beings is part of the connection. And a lot of times when they meet me, they're like, wait, just on the Uber ride over, she was like, you're a therapist? But we just been like, she really, I could tell that she was like, but you were so personable. And I was like, I don't know what people expect of us. They're like, I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know what the stigma is against it. Like what people have against it, or maybe they just don't trust opening up to people.
Yeah, that could be
like
it.
that could be it,
Or acknowledging that they even have something that's worth opening up to, about like acknowledging reasons for a need for for therapy.
Or they could be running from the accountability
that
that
too.
they
There's
need.
so many
That too.
reasons. On top of, there's his history behind Black folks going to therapists and being locked up about it, being in a mental institution about it.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
from the jump, like one of the earliest interactions with the mental health system was slaves being told that they had some hysteria for trying to run away. Escaping was a mental illness. You wanting to escape your master was a mental illness. So that's one of the earliest interactions with the system. So think about, again, generationally, historically, what we hold thinking of going to see this professional. And then the space used to be really whitewashed.
Yeah.
Right. You know?
Because that's what I was thinking of. Like, there's definitely a stigma. Well, not a stigma, but like a stereotype, thanks to the media, the shrink, the couch, the notepad, the that look. But therapy today, because therapy is a lot more common and accepted, therapy today has a different face. So I have a question. What brought you to this role? Like how did you make the decision to say, I want to be a therapist? What was your connection to mental wellness and mental health?
It was definitely a windy road. I'm a biochem background, was going into pre-med. And in that field, I just noticed like a lot of Black and brown folks that we were interacting with had a lot of mental issues that were being like overprescribed medication, or it was just being overlooked. And at the time, the partner I was with was like, I really think that you crying all the time is there's something up. And I was like, how dare you? Okay, I'm just a crier. I'm a Cancer. I'm a water sign. We express ourselves. And I was so offended. But honestly, that partner gave me an ultimatum and was like, if you don't go, then this not going to work. It didn't work anyway. I found out I was gay. So there was that part. So that didn't work anyway. But I really appreciated him because he literally was like, you need to go talk to somebody. And my first interaction was at Georgia Southern University. My first therapist was this white Italian woman. And in one session, she was like, no, like that's PTSD. And I was like, girl, stop playing. I'm good. Like I'm functioning. I'm a great student at the time. Like I thought mental illness looked a certain way. And just because I cried every now and again, had some flashbacks, had horrible nightmares, I used to wake him up at the time. And he was like, what's going on? I'm like, I just had a bad dream. Like, you tripping.
This is regular for me.
This is normal. And that's the thing. We don't realize that this stuff is not okay. Even though it's normal, you're familiar with it, doesn't mean it's okay. So being in that therapy space, getting, first of all, a white Italian woman to make me feel comfortable was like, what kind of voodoo is this? Not to even disrespect the practice, like a voodoo, but the magic behind it to me was like,
white savior complex.
It was so many layers of it. And I was like, I felt good enough to open up with you in this 30 minutes, went back for sessions. And I was like, I don't think I want to be a doctor anymore. I think I want to, well, not a medical doctor. I think I want to be a mental health doctor. And I changed and I went to, I didn't change my major. I was a junior.
Right. You got to thug it out.
Right.
Like, I'm going to graduate. Redo. Let's go to grad school. And that's where it started.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think I've heard a lot of relatable this era
people
of practitioners.
they have transitioned from that science major into other majors because they realized that the things that they were learning, that they could apply their skills elsewhere. So that's very, very interesting to know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is interesting. So any tips that you have for anyone that may be
high functioning? Because right now we both over here high functioning, and it's probably a lot of people out here that are high functioning.
Yeah.
And especially with a lot of the things that's been going on in the news with high functioning, depression, PDD, we talked about that last week. What tips do you give to people who are high functioning, depression, high functioning, anxiety?
One, rest. Like that productivity, scarcity mindset will set you up for failure. Making sure that you're resting your body and your mind. It's not just, okay, I went to sleep. Like a lot of my clients be like, yeah, I sleep, Anisha. I'm like,
stress rest.
That's not rest. Rest. Actually do something that is recharging you. Actually do something that lets you breathe a little. And also like the way that you buffer your days. Some type of morning and night routine is crucial too, to make sure that you're not immediately engaging with the world, because your bodies are just hypersensitive. As Black people, we pick up and hypervigilant to energy, to other people's stuff, if you will.
Yeah.
So if you don't buffer your morning and your night before you jump into your emails and your socials and your text messages, you are highly vulnerable to other people's energies and frequencies. And that will disrupt your mental. So high functioning folks typically have 1,000 tabs in the background.
Ooh.
So
1,000 tabs.
1,000.
You ain't lied. 1,001 actually. So there's that.
Yeah.
But okay, so rest and that's it?
No, there's so many. But resting, buffering your day, and definitely making sure that you're talking to someone. You don't have to immediately jump into a therapy space. Mm-hmm. Are you connecting with your friends and loved ones? Are you actually telling somebody that you need support? That's so important, to make sure that you're building some type of support system. Because even when my clients come to me, I'm like, what is your support outside of this space? You're going to see me an hour a week, and then what?
Right, yeah.
Like, I want to build you. My job is to make sure I don't have one anymore. And that's the hardest part too with therapy.
Wow.
Is that
weaning off.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to get to a space where it's maintenance. It's not, I need to see my therapist.
And that's the thing, like, Black folks gotta understand it's maintenance. Me and my dad had a conversation like this, and I was like, you go to the dentist, even if your tooth don't hurt, even if you don't have a cavity, right? You still go for a cleaning. Exactly. You still go to a physical like every single year, regardless of whether you're feeling in the best shape or not.
Right.
So why are we making it seem like you only have to go to therapy when you're having a tough time in life?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm saying. Sometimes you just want to check in. Hey,
that's been the theme of the month so far.
Yes, check in.
Yes, exactly. So that's my biggest thing for people, is to be aware of yourself enough so you can even know when something's off. We get so disconnected from our own bodies that we don't even know when something's off. If you end up with a bruise or your toe hurts, something, right? You're like, when did I do that? Because you're not in your body. You're in your head, and that's not going to let you know, hey, siren, something's off here. So connect with your body first so you can do that, which is actually part of my new group series, Rooted.
Plug it.
Rooted.
Yes.
I want to help more Black bodies connect with themselves. And Rooted is a group therapy practice starting Tuesday, 6 to 7:15 on June 7th, that will help you learn skills to ground and become more in touch with your own body, your thoughts, emotions. And it's a process group for Black bodies to really get connected again.
Is it a virtual thing?
Yeah, it's going to be virtual for now. I've been looking for space because I'm ready to do more of this in person. It's a different feel.
Yeah.
But this first round is going to be virtual until I find a space that's can accommodate, because I want it to feel good for us. I want it to be a really good experience.
I'm interested in checking something like that out.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Anisha, tell everyone else where they can reach out to you for your services, how they can connect with you on Instagram.
Okay, girl. Thank you. Instagram is at Hangin with Coop. That's Hangin W_Coop.
Okay.
Okay. And then connecting with my services, you can text me at 678-948-6817. I'll send you a link, and it will help you get plugged in for a consultation, which is free, 15 minutes. Talk with me. I'll assess what we got going on, and I'll connect you to the right resources, if nothing else. So that's me.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day today. This conversation is going to be super helpful for those that are listening. So
Definitely.
No, I appreciate the invite. Y'all are wonderful, beautiful. It's so good to be here.
Oh, thanks, girl. Add to the queen vibes. Yes.
Thank you so much. Y'all keep it locked to our channel, to the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to share this with a friend, and we will catch you next time. We'll see you later.